Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now there have been several rumors regarding the dependent visa, the work visa and the student visa in the UK, and today we are going to set the record straight on which are the rumors that are going on out there and which are the possible facts that the UK Home Office is definitely considering. Now for those of y'all who do not know me, my name is Nikita, and on this channel you will find everything related to your life in the UK, whether it's processes related to how you can start practicing as a healthcare professional, student life, but also things like working in the UK and how you can possibly land that dream job for yourself. But for those of you who haven't already followed me on Instagram, my handle is physiotherapy in UK, and do follow me there for all of the daily updates that I will be sharing about the UK. Now, before we move ahead, I just want to say that all of the resources and all of the information that I have found in this video is going to be shared. I'm going to share it on the screen. I'm also going to leave links for that in the description box below. But just to remind you real quickly, everything that I share with you in this video has been something that I have personally read. I will be sharing it on my screen as well. And I have also tried referencing it from the UK Home Office, that is the govt.uk website. So be assured that you can find all of this information for yourself through the links below. But also remember that I am not an immigration solicitor and I do not provide legal advice. So take all of the information and the facts that I'm providing today with a pinch of salt and go ahead and do your own sort of research before you think about coming to the UK. So diving right into the first update, which is the sort of dependent visa being issued to the number of students that are applying to the UK. So as you are aware, and previously I've described this before in a previous video that you can find right here, the number of dependent visas being issued in the UK right now for students has increased massively over the last few months and years. So in the year 2022 alone, the sort of net immigration through dependence of student visas has increased by nearly 30%. And most of this has come through the nationalities of India and Nigeria. Now, this is no surprise because obviously these cultures value family a lot more, and they would obviously love to get their family with them when they sort of study in the UK. But yes, this has been the sort of fact that has prevailed all over the course, and this is the reason why many sort of government officials are thinking very sternly along the lines of reducing the dependent visas in the UK. Okay, so just in terms of talking about dependent visa, just to let you know what is a dependent visa. So the dependent visa stands for when you are able to get your spouse or your child on this visa. So let me make this quite clear right now. You cannot be getting your siblings, your brothers or sisters, or your parents on this visa. It's simply valid only for your spouse and your children. Now, that being said, obviously, you would ask me, Nikita, what is the benefit of the dependent visa and why should I even consider it at this point? So firstly, I think just from the point of view, when I had come into the UK, it was really hard for me to sort of get integrated into the system, think about making new friends and things like that. And definitely having a spouse or somebody from your family who you think is quite important to you, or even your sort of legal partner can be quite helpful because they will reduce the amount of isolation you feel on a general basis, and that's a very strong mental support you have generated for yourself right there in the new country that you are living in. The second sort of reason why I think this is massively important is obviously because as an international student, you have the restriction of working only for up to 20 hours a week, whereas your dependent does not have any restriction. So they can sort of go ahead and work full time, which is nearly up to 37.5 hours to 40 hours a week, which is a massive source of income. Because if you just consider this situation where, for example, you come along with your spouse or with your husband or wife, if you are working just for 20 hours a week, you are barely able to remove your rental, grocery, travel costs, basically your living cost within the UK. But then all of the money that your dependent earns can be used towards savings, can be used towards paying off that student loan that you've got. So definitely having a dependent visa holder with you on your student visa is a massive boon for you. And the UK government has obviously supported that in the past. So as you can see on your screen right there, it says that the Financial Times has released this article saying that UK is considering to curb down the number of dependent visas being issued in the UK. Now, again, this is not issued on the Home Office website. So this is, again, a matter that is being discussed within the Parliament, within the broader sort of government officials over here. So this is not a rule yet. This is not a law yet. So as you can see on your screen right now, this is another article that I wanted to share with you guys. And as you can see, this was related in The Sun, which is a leading newspaper in the UK. And it says that most foreign students will be banned from bringing their family over to the Britain as an immigration crackdown has been announced this week. Now, obviously, as you can see right there, this has been a massive news for most international students who are planning to come in the September 2023 intake. Now you can see the reason for this right there, which is saying that it comes out as official figures out this Thursday are expected to show that net immigration has rocketed to nearly 1 million. So you can imagine 1 million total number of people have entered the UK in the past year alone. That is such a mind-blowing number, but it's also so immensely high. And considering that UK obviously has limited land and limited resources, the UK Home officials are definitely thinking about what they can do to stop this in the future. So again, just sort of going back to the Financial Times and seeing what that article has said about the immigration. So as you can see on your screens right there, it says that students, especially from Nigeria and India, have brought nearly about 135,000 dependents to the UK in 2022. But in 2029, they only got up to 16,000 dependents. Do you even see how big the difference is, guys? But let's move ahead. So also this article has figured out that obviously immigration is high within the UK, especially among the student dependent visa holders. So they've identified 3 potential things that they would consider doing. That is, the UK Home Office and the UK government officials are thinking about doing. Again, this is not a rule or a law yet. So the first absolute thing that they have considered is absolutely thinking about reducing the number of dependents the students can get, especially when they come on a 1-year master program or a bachelor's program. So this has been a talk of many sort of government officials saying that if a student comes over here for a bachelor's or a master's program for about 1 year, then we would think that they would not need to get their dependents along with them. Now, obviously, this is one side of the rule, which also says that if you come for a 2-year program or a PhD program, which is for nearly 3 to 5 years, then you are allowed to get your dependent visas with you. Then you are allowed to get your dependents along with you on their dependent visa. The second thing that they are considering to do is obviously start ranking the universities, and based on the university rankings decide that if the student is getting the dependent, is it going to be beneficial or no? Because obviously many students from international countries are planning to apply for universities that are quite lower grade because they just use their course as a method or a mode of entry into the UK and then start working within the UK generally on a work visa. So this was the second thing that the UK Home Office is considering to do at this stage. And obviously the third thing that they have sort of discussed in their overall meetings and which is listed down in this article is that the UK Home Office is considering that they will allow students only who study sort of important courses that are required for UK's growth and economy, such as science, maths, engineering, medicine, etc., to get their dependents along with them, because these are the sort of most important degrees or the most beneficial degrees for the UK right now. However, the silver lining to the situation is that many UK educational institutions are urging the sort of UK government to consider this fact, because obviously they realize that having UK dependents will also boost the country's economy generally and improve its GDP over the course of time. So now that I've shared all of the problems with you, let me suggest some solutions. So the first thing that I want to say to you is that if you're considering to come into the UK and you have a 1-year master course, I would urge you to consider maybe studying a 2-year master's program, because what this will do is eliminate the possibility of them not asking you to get dependents along with you. Now, obviously, if you are a single person, this does not influence you. But if you are somebody who's planning to get your family, I would say definitely consider studying a longer program in the UK, maybe a 2 years master's degree or a PhD degree, which is for up to 3 to 5 years. Now, the second thing I want to suggest is take a course that is within higher demands within the UK. So take a course that definitely the UK thinks is quite important, quite beneficial to its own economy and for its own growth. So maybe don't think about coming here for an MBA or a finance course, which you know is going to potentially lead you nowhere. But definitely consider things within the streams of science, economics, maths, engineering, medical, etc. Because these are the streams that are in quite high demand in the UK at the minute, and they are constantly looking for professionals. Now, obviously, many of y'all out there on my channel are people who have tried getting or landing jobs within the healthcare stream or within the HCPC process right now. And I would say that if you have questions about it, or if you have any sort of discussions or concern related points around it, please do not forget to book a one-to-one session with me where we can go over all of that in clear detail and we can sort out all of your queries and doubts. But coming back, I think the third sort of thing that this sort of article saying, and something that we can do to potentially escape this sort of rule, is also try applying for university rankings that are quite high when making applications. So I would say, if you are able to sort of sit and shortlist the courses that you want to do and check what universities offer them, for example, maybe say University of Salford or University of Manchester or wherever else you want to apply, go through their rankings. I would recommend selecting universities that rank within the top 50 within the UK, just so that you make sure that these universities are providing degrees of quite high standards and the UK Home Office may not come crashing down on these universities. Now, the second most important update, which I think is going to affect many students and working professionals, is that the UK Home Office is definitely considering banning students from being able to switch from their student visa to their work visa without completing their degree. Now, if many of you have followed me on my channel, you would know that I switched from my student visa to my work visa before I even completed my degree and before I even submitted my final dissertation. But that being said, that was about 2 years ago, and this rule is most likely to be changed in the coming future. Now, let me just share this article with you. So as you can see right here, there is an article that says that stakeholders in the UK sector are reporting increasingly high number of international students dropping out soon after their enrollment to accept employment offers in the UK. Now, obviously, this has been a great amount of concern to most UK government officials. They've also said that they would try to reduce this within the coming years. Now, this is because they've obviously felt that students are potentially abusing the student visa as a route of entry or a mode of entry within the UK and are ditching their courses fairly soon so that they can get employment or start working in the UK. Again, in terms of this is a consideration for discussion. So this is being put up for discussion for the government of UK officials. And this is mainly because they want to sort of protect the importance or the sort of value placed on the student systems within the UK. But obviously, this is not passed out yet by the Home Office, so it is not out there on the Government of UK's official website. So definitely keep this in mind while you are thinking about being a student in the UK and you are even potentially considering to work in the UK on the work visa or the skilled worker visa. Just to summarize, as of today, if you have got a job from a licensed sponsor in the UK, if it is any NHS trust, then you can definitely switch over to a work visa or the health and care worker visa. But definitely make sure that your sponsor is on the sponsored list, and you can verify that very easily by yourselves. And I will just leave the link for my previous videos that talk about it. But that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found it informative, and let me know your thoughts on all of this sort of confusion and random rumors going around in the description box below. Take care. Bye.